Okay. Hello. It is I. My name is Peach. How are you? I won't be editing this video too much. I think I might throw in like a background track just so you guys aren't listening to like, dead air. But I don't want to edit this too much. So I had got a comment this morning on my last uploaded video where someone had asked me if I had heard about the situation that had just happened. And of course, I'm not gonna title this video with anything because I don't want to like I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression that I'm like trying to make a video and like for lack of a better term, like cash in on the situation that just happened. I'm really not. I'm more or less just giving my thoughts about it because I feel like if I feel like it's better for me to say it rather than just keeping it in my head. That I've always like, done that. I do these like little video diaries. Not often, but I do them pretty frequently. No, that's the wrong word. I do them pretty I do them sometimes. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But Sully and that whole thing that just happened, and I took some time because I was gonna do something yesterday, but I just wasn't feeling it. It had just happened, of course, so of course I wasn't feeling it. But I wasn't feeling it. And I had to babysit yesterday, so I really couldn't have done much. But now that I've had, like yesterday, I went to therapy and I talked to my therapist about it, and then I took a day to like, I guess, kind of think about it and everything. And now that I've had time, I guess, to clear my head about it, I just wanted to see. I think what I want to do is that I want to make it a point, and I feel like I want to say it because a lot of people tell me that I have, and this is not, I don't mean this to sound braggy, but a lot of people say that I have a friendly aura about me, and it's because all I want to do is help people. Like, it's one of those situations, right? And especially in a situation like this of something that happened, and we know in Sully's case that that poor woman had been getting bullied by netizens and by a lot of people, basically, for the longest time. I personally, I think I said in my K-pop girl groups tier list video, I mentioned how much I loved FX. I've been an FX stan since debut, and Sully was always my favorite member. I was very sad when she ended up leaving the group, but regardless, I understood what she wanted to do, and I fully supported her, and I respected her decision to be a soloist and actress and whatever she was doing. And Sully was my favorite member. I remember very vividly when I first got into K-pop and I first started standing FX, I wanted to be Sully so bad because I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was the prettiest girl on earth. I thought she was so funny. I loved the way she dressed. I loved her whole mindset. I loved the way she moved. Like, I just really wanted to be Sully. So of course, hearing what had happened to her, it's devastating because she was, I just always loved her. I always loved her, and I always thought she was just such a beautiful person and like a beautiful soul because all she wanted to do was help people. And that's, I guess, kind of how I brought that around, and that's probably why I related so much to her, because all she wanted to do was help people. And that's why, like, I'm sad. And I'm sad about it, of course I am, but it's like also I'm less sad in the sense that I'm like, oh man, like, I'm not like, I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but like, I'm sad, but I'm more so frustrated and I'm angry because this feels like something that could have been prevented. It's one of those things because she definitely deserved better, and it was not like she wasn't reaching out for help. Like I said, Sully had been getting bullied by netizens for years, even before she had left FX. I think she ended up leaving FX because of that. She went on a hiatus for a little bit before she ended up, re-debuting as a soloist and everything. Because people were just constantly giving her shit. If you don't know who Sully is or you don't know that much about her, she was one of those artists that kind of just, people just didn't like her. I don't understand why, but she was one of those artists that always got shit. She would always get constantly berated by people for the tiniest little things. Like if she steps out of line slightly, everybody's on her ass about it. And it was constant. It was all the time. And I saw an article this morning saying that Sully had tried her best to reach out to SM and tell SM to do something about it, because of course I don't think that she clearly wasn't wanting to give up on everything, but there's, you know, it gets too much. Like, I don't want to sound preachy and like go on this whole rant about cyberbullying and da 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 da, but in this case it's more so people need to realize, and a lot of people are saying, oh, South Korea needs to realize, SM Entertainment needs to realize, but I don't want people to think that this does not apply to international fans, because there are situations where idols can see what we say, even as international fans, especially nowadays with K-pop being so global. I'm pretty sure it's like a requirement at this point for idols to have learned English, because it's, you know, 50-50 chance that English fans may, you know, start standing. So with the current that's not the word I want. With the current, I guess, landscape of K-pop and how people are learning English and know English and are on Twitter and Instagram and all of these social media sites more often, even as an international fan, if you are going out of your way to say negative things about an idol, you really need to rethink it. Because think about, for example, the Super M disbandment thing. Like, that was a hashtag and the boys of Super M saw it. Like, that's... And, you know, that's a thing. And, you know, there's constant, excuse me. There's a constant thing of a lot of edgy stans and a lot of people trending hate hashtags for people. Like, we had the Super M disbandment thing. We had somebody trending a hate hashtag on Jimin's birthday. We have all types of things like that happening all the time. And it's like, at what point do we really stop and think about the impact that we have on people? Because a lot of people are like feeling kind of pessimistic about it. They're like, oh, well, people are gonna, you know, throw up their pitchforks and protest and say all these things only for a month, and then they're gonna forget, like the Jonghyun situation. And I don't want to bring back Jonghyun because, as a Shawwal as well, it's very, you know, you don't want to keep bringing him up every time something like this happens, because he was way more than that. But that same situation, a lot of people were you know, feeling the same way, like putting up these arguments saying that we need to be more careful about the things that we say to idols. We need to treat idols like people. We need to stop putting these harsh, you know, reinforcements on idols like they aren't people. And then, you know, 2 years later, we have kind of a similar situation happen with Sully. And there's a lot that I feel like that could be done. And that's why I'm just so frustrated, because it really could have been prevented. Sully wanted SM to do something, and they were just too passive. SM did not have their priorities at where they should have been. And there are some people, I've seen some tweets saying that they didn't want to blame SM and that you shouldn't blame SM. And I think that some people are thinking that the people who are blaming SM are somehow taking the blame off of the netizens, and that's totally not the case. In this situation, I truly believe that the netizens are 100% at fault, but SM is also at fault as well, because they could have done more to help her. They could have done more to protect her. There are idol companies that have in-house therapists that take the time to sue anybody sending hate comments or whatever. There are things that people are doing to protect their artists. There is no reason why SM should not be doing that. Given how big SM is, they might not be, well, they still are the big three because YG dropped out, but they are still a part of the big three. SM has a ton of money. There is no reason why they should not have been able to protect her. There's no fucking reason. There's no excuse in this world that would have given them a reason to not be protecting this girl. Well, like I said, when she had been getting this shit constantly, for as long as I can fucking remember, people were always giving Sully shit. I feel like even when she was in FX, people were giving her shit. So it's like, they can't play, it's like there's no way that they could sit there and say that they didn't know. Everybody knew. It was like a thing that people knew that Sully would get a lot. She was one of those idols that, along the lines of, you know, Taeyeon gets a lot of shit, Yeri gets a lot of shit, Hara from Kara, she gets a lot of shit. One of those idols was just constantly getting berated by netizens, and it's like, we knew that it was happening. Now, I won't say we, because there's not much that I can do being a fan all the way over here, but it's like they knew that it was happening and they weren't doing anything about it until it's the last minute and we get something like, it's always a shame when it has to be like the worst case scenario, when something absolutely tragic happens for people to be like, oh, now this is what we should be doing. Like, we should have figured this out beforehand. Not to pull this around on me, and I don't want to put this on me, but I do. It reminds me of before I got therapy. I had been telling my dad, or at least giving signs to my dad for months, years, that I needed therapy, that I needed something, and he didn't want to believe me up until the last moment where I almost did something horrible, and then he finally threw me into therapy. And I was one of the lucky ones, you know? It should not come to that. It should not come to the last fucking minute where someone has to hurt themselves for people to be like, oh, we should be doing something about it. Like, it's always, there's just been a huge problem. There's this huge stigma about mental illness in a lot of POC communities, not just, you know, Korean communities, but, you know, other Asian communities, other Black communities. There's always this negative stigma about it. And I feel like nowadays we're being more open about mental illness, yes, but there's still more that needs to be done. There's absolutely more that needs to be done. Like, yeah. And I think I just wanted to make this video just to extend a hand out to anybody else out there. Even me being small little fucking, you know, dumb little me, I truly believe that people need to be nicer to people. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to understand it. And I don't want to be like I said, I don't want to be preachy. But people just need to be nicer because you don't know what people are going through. Like, you really don't. People say this all the time. You have no idea what somebody's going through. And then you could be sending all types of hate messages to an idol, to a regular old person off Twitter, whatever. Sending all of these hate messages and whatever, and you don't know what they're going through. You know? Like, people could be... And this goes back around to a lot of other things that a lot of people on Twitter, especially on Stan Twitter, you know, they trend all these hate hashtags and they joke about, they claim that it's joking about all these, saying all these negative things about idols, about certain members of groups or whatever. But it's like, you can say that it's a joke. Sure, you could say that it's a joke, but if you're going out of your way to like spam somebody on Instagram to trend whole hate hashtags and then be confused when something like this Sully situation happens and then say, we need to treat idols better. Like, don't be a hypocrite. You need to look at, and I'm not sitting here saying, like, you know, putting myself up on a pedestal and acting like I've never said anything mean about an idol. I think we've all said something mean about an idol one time or another. But I know that I need to look into myself and be nicer to people. I'm fully aware of that. But a lot of other people need to look into themselves and realize that you need to be nicer to people. Like, a lot of people have been saying for years, idols are not dolls. They are human beings with emotions, with feelings. They see the things that you say, regardless of whether you think they don't, whether you speak Korean or you don't. They see the things that you say. There's a lot of situations where we see idols like Sunmi, for example, who's one of those idols that she can't help but read all of these comments. I think I saw a video that our manager posted or something like that where they mentioned that Sunmi reads all of those comments and even the negative ones. And, you know, these idols do read these things. So you just can't don't take the risk. Don't, like, if you want to like goof on somebody, at the very least, just keep it in your group chats, you know, keep it between friends, keep it between y'all, and it's just y'all. But don't go out of your way sending nobody no negative shit. Don't go out of your way on V-Lives, you know, saying negative things to people, trending hate hashtags, spamming people's Instagrams with stuff, Instagram lives, all that stuff. It all kind of just really needs to stop. And I don't, like I keep saying, I really don't want to sound preachy, but it's like, what would you rather? Would you rather idols feel more comfortable and be happier and be healthier, or rather have more situations like these happen because you want to get your shitty little joke off? You know, it's just frustrating and it's annoying. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say about this whole situation. So yeah, I mean, seriously, I know I say this sometimes at the end of my videos, and I do really mean it when I tell you guys to take care of yourselves, because it's a hard fucking world out here, man. Shit can sneak up on you, and depression and things like that shit does sneak up on you. You never know what anybody's going through, what somebody's going through. You know, somebody might, like, for example, in Sully's situation, you know, she was filming a commercial the day before she passed away, the day before she took her life. She was, you know, she did an Instagram live, I think the night before or something like that. So you never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's planning. So you need to be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice, or just don't say anything at all. Just let it pass. Just don't even worry about it. But yeah, take care of yourselves, seriously. Drink water. Mind yourselves and be more gentle with yourselves, because I know a lot of us can be very hard on ourselves, especially with today's climate and the way things are moving, especially us young adults. And even in if you're still in high school, you know, it's hard because you got all this shit that you want to do, all this stuff that you feel like you should be doing. I know me personally, being 21, I feel like there's a lot of shit I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. And it's hard to not be hard on yourself, but just try to be a little more gentler to yourself. I don't know if that's the right way, the right word, but take care of yourselves. It's hard. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm like, I've got mush mouth. But yeah, that's all. So yeah. How many times did I say yeah? I don't know. Yeah.